Warm greetings to all of you. I, Neha Duggal Khalsa, Assistant Professor at Khalsa College of Education, Ranjit Avenue, Amritsar, welcomes you all on KCGC TV. Today, I am going to present the lecture on the topic Inquiry-Based Learning. Inquiry-based learning is an instructional practice where students are at the center of the learning experience and take ownership of their learning by posing, investigating and answering questions. It is considered to be a form of self-directed learning where students take responsibility for their learning. Inquiry-based learning is a learning process which engages students by making real world connections through exploration and high level questioning. In other words, it is a teaching and learning method which prioritizes student questions, ideas and analysis. In other words, we can say inquiry based learning is a method of instruction that places the student, the subject and their interaction at the center of the learning experience. At the same time, it transforms the role of the teacher from being dispensing knowledge to one of the facilitating learning. Inquiry-based learning is more than asking a student what he or she wants to know. Instead, it's about triggering curiosity. So, in order to trigger curiosity, a teacher needs to do following things. Number one, think about his or her content area. Number two, what is a new take on a topic that he or she is going to bring into her classroom? Number three, what is a new piece of information that can help trigger her own enthusiasm, which can later trigger the curiosity among students? So, as a teacher, you have discovered something that have generated your own inquiry and you have recreated that moment for your students once your curiosity was triggered. Now, what comes next in inquiry based learning? This can be best answered in 4 basic steps. Let's discuss these steps one by one. First of all, students develop a question that they are hungry to answer. This means students develop problem statement by pitching their questions using constructed responses. Number 2, research the topic by using time in the class. This means let the student research for the topic by utilizing time in the class and the teacher just need to guide them. Number 3, have student present what they have learned. This means let the student present what they have learned and understand so far. And lastly, as the reflection is the key element, so reflect upon what have worked about the process and what didn't. All this will ultimately help the student to make their presentations effective. This will also motivate them to be an expert in their self-described field. Furthermore, inquiry-based learning can be implemented at different levels. So, if a teacher wants to implement it in classroom practices, he or she should begin the year with a structured query model. This means students will follow the lead of the teacher and all the students will be engaged on one single inquiry. After structured query model, what comes next? The next step will be controlled inquiry. In this, the teacher chooses the topic and identifies the resources that the student will use to answer their question. Then thirdly, the next step comes up, that is the guided inquiry. Here, the teacher will choose the topic, but the student will design their problem, a product and the solution. Now, if all goes well, the teacher will conclude the year with a free inquiry. That is, teacher is no more, she will going to be a facilitator and the student will choose their topic without any reference to prescribed outcome. Now, coming to the components of the inquiry based learning. So, basically there are 5 common components of the inquiry based learning, such as essential questions, student engagement, cooperative interaction, performance evaluation and variety of resources. Let's discuss them briefly one by one. The first component is essential questions. These questions are powerful, directive and commit students to the process of critical thinking through inquiry. Such questions are at the top of the Bloom's taxonomy. They require students firstly to evaluate, that is to make a choice between options. Secondly, to synthesize, that is to invent a new or different version. And lastly, to analyze, that is to have thorough and complex understanding of the concept through skillful questioning. Now coming to the second component, that is student engagement. This component focuses upon student participating in their own learning. Here, teacher will play the role of the facilitator. Student will not be just a mere listener, rather they will be involved in creating something new and showcasing their understanding. Now, the third component will be cooperative interaction. In this, the teacher will ask student to communicate or work in pairs or groups and exchange their ideas and viewpoints with each other. Now, the fourth component will be performance evaluation. In this, instructors need to create instruction that can help measure students' learning. Students will create end product so as to showcase what they have learned so far. Scoring guides are also used for performance evaluation. Now, the last component will be variety of resources. Student will use plethora of resources such as essays, websites, textbooks to support their learning. So, these were all the common components of the inquiry based learning. Now, what comes next? The question arises here is why a teacher should implement inquiry based learning in his or her classroom. This can be best answered as number 1. Inquiry increases rigor and cognitive load. This means inquiry based learning pushes the students beyond simply learning to memorize or remember, but towards applying their knowledge and creating something new. Secondly, inquiry increases engagement and interest in learning. Now, what does it mean? Inquiry based learning, it connects the new concept and area of study with the students' own interest and lived experiences. This will automatically awaken their curiosity, thus increasing their interest and engagement in learning. The third number is inquiry develops soft skills. Soft skills such as creative thinking, critical thinking, problem solving and teamwork. Such skills, they are very much important and pertinent for the student success in 21st century. Inquiry based learning helps to develop such skills. The fourth point is inquiry transforms the classroom of students into classroom of teachers. Now, what does it mean? Inquiry based learning allows the students to work as a team with clearly set expectations and carefully defined goals, where students discuss and exchange their ideas and come up with creative ways to approach a complete task. Learning more as a team than individually. Here, your classroom has been transformed into a space where everyone is a teacher. Now, coming to the fifth point, that is, it helps develops communication skills. Inquiry based learning helps in developing the communication skills of the students, as all the students will work on a same problem together and express their feelings and thoughts to each other. Now, coming to the last point, that is, connects learning to the real world. Inquiry based learning, it connects learning to the real world, as students are allowed to explore problems that exist in the real world. Here, they will see how what they are learning in classroom is relevant. As I have discussed, why a teacher should implement inquiry based learning in the classroom. The question arises here is how it can be implemented in the classroom. For this, there are various strategies. Let's discuss them one by one. The first strategy is instructional design. One of the most powerful way to promote inquiry in the classroom is to design activities, lessons, units that benefit from, require or promote inquiry. The second strategy is reframing content. Subjects like mathematics, social sciences, languages, they all are overflowing with fascinating contents. That means they are reframing the content in a new way that is fresh, proactive and even controversial. Inquiry is natural when ideas are interesting. Now, the third strategy is question based learning. Question based learning is basically a teacher thought framework for learning. Through the formation and revision of the questions over the specific period of time. This can be combined with the self-directed learning where students can ask their own question. The fourth strategy will be demonstrate how to participate. This means a teacher should actively participate to provide first-hand look to the student that how to complete the steps. She should launch a mock activity so as to help the student in any way. For example, after presenting an open question, the fourth strategy is demonstrate how to participate. This means a teacher should launch a mock exercise for the class. That means she should actively participate for the class so as to provide them first hand look. For this, what teacher will do? After presenting an open question, she will contribute and facilitate to the brainstorming session. This will exemplify pitching, developing ideas and help the students for their future exercises. And now the last strategy is surprise students. To spark a curiosity among the students, a teacher should run surprise activity for the students. For example, teacher can play a video and engage students which stimulates their interest too. After watching their video, split the class into two groups and then present an open question to answer. So, to conclude, inquiry based learning is an unorthodox method of the learning which incorporates active participation of the students by involving them in posing questions and bringing real life experiences to them. The basis of this method is to channelize the thought process of the students through queries. Now, also helping them how to think rather than what to think. So, today I have discussed all about inquiry based learning in detail. I hope this lecture proves informative to all of you. Thank you. Have a nice day.